Hi, and welcome to Couple of Expats, the channel where we talk about studying, working, and living in Finland. My name is Megha if you're new to this channel, and in today's video, we are talking about everything you need to know about being a teacher in Finland. We have a very special guest. We have Romy Valo, who is joining us today, and she is a German language teacher who is going to share her experience starting from studying in Finland to being a teacher in Finland. So let's go. So welcome, Romy, to Couple of Expats. We're so glad you're able to join us today.
Thank you for having me. It's so nice to be here.
So if you could please introduce yourself to the audience.
So my name is Romy. I have come to Finland 4 years ago now. I'm originally from Germany. And in Germany, I've studied to be a primary school teacher. And in Finland, I have studied educational sciences, and I'm currently working as a mother tongue teacher for German speakers.
So most of those who are watching this video are internationals, so they're going to want to know that can they, as internationals, as foreigners, be teachers if they move to Finland? So how do you feel from your experience about that?
So I would say yes. In Finland, one can be a teacher even though you are not from Finland, but one has to be precise what kind of teacher we talk about, because it's very different from being a kindergarten teacher or primary school teacher or even working with adults as a teacher. So they are very different settings, and with the different contexts, you also have different criteria you need to fulfill, that anyone needs to fulfill, no matter if they are Finnish or if they are internationals.
Okay, it's great that you actually brought up the different classifications of education, and how would you advise that foreigners should proceed regarding what kind of next steps they need to take when arriving in Finland?
So if the person already comes with a background in education, has been maybe a teacher previously, you can have your degree recognized with the Finnish National Agency for Education. So you send all your documents there, and they will tell you what you're still missing to be the kind of teacher you have been or want to be in Finland, because that is very different for like kindergarten teacher or like primary school teacher. And also people come with all kinds of different backgrounds, so it will be an individual decision they will make.
Makes sense.
It will guide you as well.
So how did the recognition process go for you?
So I had my degree recognized quite soon after I moved here. And it was quite easy because everything could just be filled out online. So it was very clear on the agency's website. It was also done in English, and it was very clearly stated what kind of documents they will need. The recognition process, I think, took 1 month or something, because they also look into every case, and it takes time. But then I got my decision quite quickly, and it stated quite clearly what I still have to do to become a teacher here. So the recognition is also in so far important, because I was always asked for this document, because also salary is stated based on this recognition. Even like working at a community college where I didn't need to fulfill the criteria they set to me to be a classroom teacher that I applied for, but also even without having the criteria fulfilled, one can be a substitute teacher. But also for that, you have to give your documents.
So your recognition document is very important.
Yeah, I would say so.
So to be a teacher, of course, you need to be educated yourself. So what kind of educational background might be preferred for being a teacher? And how does that correlate with what kind of teacher that one wants to be, whether it's early education or high school?
For kindergarten teacher, you have to be at least a bachelor of educational sciences, as far as I know. For classroom teacher, it's a master in pedagogical studies.
Yeah.
For a subject teacher, of course, you have your subject that you've studied in depth, and on top of that, you have the pedagogical studies. For vocational schools, is that you're also a master of your subject, and you have already working experience, and then you can do the pedagogical studies later on.
So Romy, what did you study in Finland?
I studied a master's degree of educational sciences, The name is Education and Learning at the University of Turku. That's a 2-year degree, but this one does not actually provide a teaching degree, so you're not naturally a teacher after that. There are other university programs that do provide with a teaching degree. Yeah.
So how would one know if they are being provided a teaching degree? Is that something that's indicated in the course description?
Yes, that's in the description of the study program.
Can you tell me next about what kind of teaching positions you've had in Finland?
Yeah, so my teacher journey started with an internship actually during my studies. I was in a primary school in the city of Turku, and I was just assisting there. And actually through this position I was offered courses at the community college in Kaarina that I've done alongside my studies. And in the last spring I've been working as a substitute teacher for 4 months in Tampere at a language emphasized classroom. It was preschool and primary school.
Sounds like you've had very mixed experience, very varied experiences.
Yeah, that's right.
So how important have you seen that Finnish language proficiency to be a teacher?
That's a really good question, because actually for being a primary school teacher, like a classroom teacher, there's a law that you have to prove your language abilities to be C1, but it doesn't have to be necessarily the Finnish language. It can also be the Swedish language, depending if you want to teach in the Swedish-speaking area. But then there are also, of course, variations. I, for example, taught at a language emphasized classroom, so I taught 80% actually in German and only 20% in Finnish. But apart from the teaching language, of course, there's all the administration around it, and also how you become a teacher. So you have to speak to the rector. And in the interviews, I was more or less also offered to do the interviews in English, but then I opted for Finnish to also show that I am able to speak Finnish in the classroom as well, because then also the work you have with the parents might also be in Finnish.
Yeah.
So I actually had some conversations with parents that I only had in Finnish.
Like parent-teacher meetings, for example.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Or writing messages. Everything is done online. And of course the administration parts are largely also in Finnish. One has to be prepared for that. So.
Yeah, and don't be shy to show off your Finnish skills if you have them. As we can see in Romy's case, that showcasing her Finnish skills has actually been a very big advantage, at least I think so. So I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this video right now are actually thinking about applying to be a teacher themselves. So do they already need to be in Finland to apply?
I would think it's easier to be already in Finland. But I've also heard stories, I don't know how valid they are, but that someone just gets in touch with a headmaster of a school and asks if there are any vacancies open, if the background fits, and if there are chances in the future for substitute work. Usually it's that you first become a substitute teacher and then later on might be hired for a more permanent position. Maybe it's always worth trying.
It is. So what is the most authentic place to learn about becoming a teacher in Finland?
So for me, it was mainly the Finnish National Agency for Education, the Ministry of Education, that have very valid information, but then also the universities that give information.
Yeah, so check out these websites. These are going to be full of good information for you. So do you think as a profession, teachers are in demand in Finland? And what kind of challenges have you noticed along the way?
Yeah, so there's again the question, what kind of teacher do you want to be? There is a lack of kindergarten teachers, for example.
Okay.
And that's more specific in different areas. There might be more of a demand than in others. Otherwise, I know of subject teachers for natural sciences. There's a lack of teachers, or a growing lack of teachers, and also special education teachers are needed. But then there are also other fields and also other areas in Finland that don't have any demand of more teachers, because the teaching profession is very popular, and well, in the literature it states always that only the best become teachers. That also means, for example, for primary education, you have to fulfill a lot of criteria, but then you also face a very competitive situation once you are eligible to apply to positions.
So what are some other challenges one might face if they want to be a teacher in Finland?
I realize it's more or less difficult to get into. Also, when you have your degree recognized, for example, for me it was that I was actually supposed to retake courses that I might have already studied, but for being eligible in Finland to teach, I had to do that. And what a challenge I faced was that once I knew that what I need to do, I didn't find the education. Now I know that you can reach out to Simhe, that's like collaboration with the universities. They will help you to see what kind of courses you can take at the university. Otherwise, what I also realized is, because I've also been thinking whether I could be a German teacher, because I have studied also German didactics in Germany. But then I realized that you should also pay attention on what are the common subject combinations, because German is often in the combination with Swedish, which is a language that I don't speak, but often when you look at open jobs, it's German and Swedish.
So what is your favorite aspect of being a teacher in Finland?
So one aspect is that I like how much freedom you have. So of course, you have a curriculum you should follow, but then again, how the kids learn is very much up to you. So you can choose what kind of methods you use, also like what kind of tools you bring and what kind of media you bring in. For example, me, I really like to use proper books. So I can bring in proper books and build also a math lesson around that and so on. So I can be really free in how I design my teaching. Another thing is that I really enjoy having a team, because often teaching is like a job you do on your own. Yeah. But in Finland, I feel it's more a team effort that you collaborate with the special education teacher, for example, or with the school psychologist. You are likely to have a teaching assistant in the room, so you're not all alone, but you have a team.
Both of those sound really important, like being able to personalize a little bit your own teaching method, if I understood correctly, as well as being able to have other people to rely on. Both of those sound like things that can make a job easier or more fun.
Yeah, but also it's very learner-centered. So together with your team and also with bringing in your own strengths, you can see that how can this individual kid or like adult later on can learn the best. So that's something that I found very rewarding.
How about when you were a student? What are some of the things that you enjoyed being a student in Finland?
Something I really liked was that I was quite free what studies I can take. So yes, I have a degree program I follow, but there were so many other courses I was free to take at the university that I could follow my own interests.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed that as well. So we've been through a lot of important points, and the last thing that I want to ask you is to give one tip to our audience. What should they do if they want to become teachers in Finland?
I think most importantly, start or focus on learning the language, either if it's Finnish or Swedish, but the language is the tool to go when teaching. So language is important.
Thank you! We finally managed to film this video. Yay!
Thank you for having me.
All right, I hope you have learned everything that you need to know about being a teacher in Finland. And remember, this is a very broad topic, so if you haven't, be sure to check out the resources that Romy mentioned in this video and the websites that appeared in the video and can be found in the description box below. A very big thanks to Romy Valo for joining us today. We will leave her LinkedIn as well. If you do have any questions, you know what to do. Leave them in the comment section below and give this video a thumbs up up if you have enjoyed it. If you would like to know more about life in Finland, please subscribe to our channel. And that's it for today. See you next time.